What's up, y'all? Philly Fly Show checking in here, kicking in at Right Way Production Studios, and we back for another week of the UFC, the last ever paid for pay-per-view card in the UFC for now, unless they ever switch back. But I don't think they're ever going to switch back because that motto is just dead. Let's get the big names out there for cheap. And we all just kind of ride with it. I can't wait to ride off into the sunset. This is the last one. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, we are not paying for this one. Just a heads up. We're going to have to actually view this one after it's over. I have a comedy show on Saturday that I finally get to go to. Get to go see, I can't think of his name right now, but super fun comedy show. Get to sit in the VIP section. So that's going to be fun as hell. Cannot wait for that. To my own horn here again, the Philly Fly Show is killing it on single picks. I know that parlays are insanely hard anyways, and I only throw them out there because I like parlays and I love to make a bank on them when I win. But I've been on a slouch on them, or some like Matthew Wellmaker was 2 weeks ago, killed me. A couple other ones killed me on this one here, but the single picks 9 for 14, so sitting way above that 62% goal that I set for myself every year for this. If you hit it higher than 62% on your single picks, granted, odds kind of fluctuate up into, like the 1300s and 400s plus on negative 400 plus. But the picks are the picks. They're in. They're great. Way above 62% for the show next week. I'm working on a little thing that I've put aside. Since I don't know if I'll do the whole year. I might. If I do the whole year, I'll give you the whole year percentage. But I'm definitely doing, since I started doing these videos here, where I actually have a live stream of myself and putting myself out there, that for sure is going to be coming out with that started August something. I can't remember the exact number of events I've done now with it. I used to have the number in my head, but I haven't counted them. Can't wait for that, but that's going to be coming out next week for the next week's show, because next week's show is the last UFC that we're going to have for over a month. This is going to be the longest layoff of the UFC. They said they have to take this extra long layoff to get ready for the switch to Paramount, and that actually makes sense, because when they switched from Fox to ESPN, they didn't take a super long time off, and when they did that, it was the first couple events, even the pay-per-views, the streams, everything was kind of messed up in ESPN to start off with. So that is why we have a whole, it's over a month. I think it's a month and a week. So it's like 6 weeks almost of no fights. And actually this morning, Friday morning, when I'm recording this, PFL is on actually as we speak. I'm not watching it or anything. I'm looking over here like I am, because I was like, do I turn it on quick? But I just love MMA. PFL is not a good sport to watch because their ownership is just horrid. But if you need some MMA show to watch this morning, you might get some PFL. All right, but we're going to jump in here. Last pay-per-view of the year, UFC 323. Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. Petr Yan, not Peter. Petr Yan. It's going to be a good fight. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be, the odds makers obviously have this 50-50 right. I'd give it a little downward. I'd give it more of like a 3-1 odd, but they have 5-1 almost that Merab wins. I get that. I want to see Merab make weight this morning. I wanted to wait for that. I didn't watch the UFC weigh-in show. I was just kind of waiting for it because he had a tough weight cut about a month ago. And to do it for the 4th time in a year, not a lot of people do that. It's very hard. It's very difficult. Merab, let's get it done, though. I really cannot wait for this fight, because Petr, his first fight with Merab was horrid. Did not look like he even belonged there, but that dude does belong. He just was on a bad slouch. So it's going to be a good fight to see there. But let's jump into a match like 14 instead of jumping into the main event. We do also have Alejandro Pantoja and Josh Van. We'll talk about that once we get there. This is already stretching out a little too far for me. Let's do it, y'all. Match like number 14 here. We're going to start off in the featherweight division. We get Muhammad Namov versus Marion Santos. Now, Marion Santos is a negative 265 favorite, whereas Nemov is plus 210 underdog. Look, Santos has a hard time defending takedowns. Unless he's completely switched around his game and worked on that, it's going to be a tough fight for him because Nemimov can grapple, he can strike, he can do it all. He's got power behind his hands. He's not no slouch fighter. I know Santos got great striking, but I just do not see this fight staying on the feet that long. I think Namimov's going to take him down and show him what level of grappling he is. I'm taking Namimov here, Muhammad, with that plus 210 to start out the night because that is some great odds for a fighter who can easily win this fight in different ways. Santos can only win one certain way, and that's the only way we've seen him win. So that's going to be a hard one with the guy he's fighting. Namimov with the win. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised. Jump to the middleweight division. We get Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Trocolo. Now, Antonio's a plus 730 underdog. Mansour, negative 1,300. If you haven't seen Mansour fight, the guy is an animal. I do not. He's going to be a tough task for anybody in the middleweight division right now. And he's not even at his full skill set yet. He hasn't learned enough yet to be well-rounded in MMA. That's scary. That's very scary for the middleweight division. Unless he just never ascends and he's plateaued, it's not going to – his career is going to be insane. So it's going to be a bad night for Tricoli here. Obviously going Mansour, and this is something we don't usually do. This is a 4 out of 5 on the confidence level. If you get a 5 out of 5, that's only happened 5 times in my whole 5-year career of this. I barely ever get a 5 out of 5 on the confidence. So 4 out of 5 happens when you just know this. If this guy loses on Saturday, it'll be a complete ultimate upset that I've ever seen in my life. Ever. All right, we'll jump to the light heavyweight division. We get match league number 12 here. Io Bransuski versus Ibo Asayam. Now, Asayam is a plus 154 underdog, whereas Barnowski is a negative 192 favorite, and Barnowski is making his UFC debut. He had a 20-second knockout on Dana White's Contender Series. You can say that was a lopsided matchmaking all you want. The guy he knocked out is getting another fight in Dana White's Contender Series. That doesn't usually happen right away either, and I'm pretty sure they've already said they're marking that for the next Dana White Contender Series once that starts again. Because that other dude he knocked out was very, very good. That was insane what he did. Ebo is a good fighter. He lacks a little bit of head movement and defense. And that's not good when you're matching up against a guy who carries this kind of power and this kind of striking and this level of striking for a UFC debut. I'm going Io Barnowski. It's going to be a difficult fight for him, yes, because Ebo is very, very good, but Ebo's defense is not the greatest, so I'm pretty sure Ebo can land, or Barnowski can land. They got 2 very similar names, so I got trying to say the last names of both these guys. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that Barnowski can get his hand raised. So jump to the lightweight division here. I'm glad to see this guy fight again. Both these guys, actually, I should say. I'm super happy Jalen Turner came out of retirement. He retired a little too early. I think he was just on a bad slouch. You got to get back in there and get a win, yes. But even if he doesn't win on Saturday, getting back in there, getting the grind on, let's go. Jalen Turner can be an elite dog. You just got to work on your game, dude. Not saying you never did. I'm saying it's the fight game. Losing is not bad. Losing is just an experience and a way to learn. But he is fighting this other guy. I can't believe his UFC career is still going. Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner is going to be a great fight in the lightweight division. Edson is moving up from the featherweight to the light. It's his last attempt, man. It literally is. He loses on Saturday. It's probably the end of his UFC career. I know he's got some great knockouts, some great fights, and he's fought forever, and he is a vet, and everybody loves him. I get that. But Edson, in his last couple fights, it's either A, his gas tank doesn't last, or B, he gets hit takes so much damage that he just can never recover from the damage and just not be the same fighter that he is walking forward, that he is walking backwards. Edson is at the end of his career, and that is why Jalen Turner's such a favorite. Jalen Turner is a negative 300 favorite, whereas Edson's a plus 235 underdog. Do not go with Edson here unless you know you're making a major risk. I think Jalen gets back in there and knocks some sense out of freaking Edson, and it'd be the last fight we see of him. Unfortunately, but he had a great career. There's nothing bad about losing. Remember that, especially when you had the type of career that Edson has. If you told me right now I signed up for the UFC and got Edson type of career, I'd take it in a second, man. I'd take it in a second, even though he's never been a champion. All right, 3 out of 5 though in the confidence level. Jalen can get his hand raised after this fight. All right, back to the middleweight division. Matching number 10, we get number 14th ranked Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferra. It's essentially a pick'em. Ferra's a negative 105. Vettori's negative 115 on the money line odds. Bruno is coming for that ranking, and he's been coming. He's finally getting a shot to get up in there, and I think he takes it because Marvin Vettori has just been, I think he's just taken too much damage in his lifetime. He's literally fought fights where he can't get knocked out by dudes that can knock people out. I'm talking Israel Adesanya. He has fought the best of the best, and there is no slouch in that career, but toward the end of it here, he just, after the first round, he never has looked like the same fighter. So you can't do that against Bruno. Bruno's got great striking and great power behind those hands. It's going to be a nasty fight. The odds makers has been as a pick 'em, but I'd put this more on Bruno 2-1. I'm picking Bruno here. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. All right, match like number 9, we'll get back to the lightweight division. It feels like we're just jumping back and forth from the same divisions here. It's kind of a weird fight card here. But lightweight division, we got Nazim Sadikov versus Faris Ziam now, or Ziam, however you want to say it. Faris is a negative 142 favorite, whereas Sadikov is a plus 116 underdog. Dude, you can go either way you want on this fight. Sadiq's really well-rounded. I'd say his striking's a little better than his grappling, in my personal opinion, but he's well-rounded, whereas Ziam, he's a pure striker, kickboxer. He's got okay grappling defense. Some of the grapplers he's fought, he's been able to stop some of the takedowns and not look so bad, but he's a great point fighter. So this goes to decision. Ziam, he's going to have the biggest advantage there because he's a great point fighter. But Sadikov is looking for a finish here in whatever way he can. And Ziam's last fight, I don't know if his striking was just a little off. Something was off with him. He just didn't look like the level that he was before. I think he gets back to that. I think he gets back to a big win here on Saturday. I'm only 1 out of 5 on the confidence level, though, because Sadikov can bring it, and I almost picked him. But to be fair, there's a lot of underdogs on this card that I like here. And it wasn't like I'm just, I got a better favorite, better than under. No. I just think this fight's going to decision. So since I think this fight's going to decision, that's why I picked Ziam to win. But it's not very confident. So I wouldn't put it on a parlay, guys. Stay away from this one on a parlay. Watch this fight. Bet on it singly. Don't put this one on a parlay. All right, match like number 8 is a flyweight female fight. Our first female fight of the night. Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. This is a banger fight. I didn't get the rankings of both these fighters. I'm upset right now. Skipped over these two for some stupid reason. Didn't get your rankings on these guys. But Macy Barber, look, her health conditions cannot get me to bet on her. I don't care how big of a favorite she is. I don't care what type of opponent she's facing. That girl's health issues, I hope, are under control. She scheduled a fight with Aaron Blanchfield earlier this year and couldn't make the walk. Medical doctors would not let her walk. We literally were hearing music, and she got up to go out and she fainted. So they didn't let her fight that night, unfortunately. I'm glad to see her back in there. I'm hoping they figured out these health things. I really am. But fighting a girl like Karine Silva, Macy's a great striker and a good grappler. Not a good grappler. So she mixes it up a lot. Is Silva's little bit of weakness is grappling, but she's just not been able to show that she's got great grappling defense or offense. She's a great striker. That's what she is. That's what she's building her game on. So if these two stand and strike, it's a bad night for Macy, especially because we don't know about the health issues. So for me, I don't know how the odds makers have Macy as a negative 188 favorite and Kareem Silva as a plus 152 underdog, but I'm cashing that check with Kareem Silva on Saturday. She's going to get her hand raised 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. She beats Macy. I think she finishes Macy because I just cannot wrap my head around how this girl's still fighting with those type of health conditions. Whew, that was a hard one to talk about. All right, match like number 7, lightweight division. Back to the lightweights. They're moving forward tonight. The bantamweight division's moving forward tonight. The middleweight division has some fights on here tonight. Light heavyweight has 2 fights on here, so they ain't moving that far forward, but they're moving forward a little bit. But lightweight fight, Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Look, McKinney's a plus 132 underdog. Duncan's negative 162 favorite. I couldn't pick a favorite or an underdog here. If you just threw those 2 fighters at me and said pick the odds, I'd say pick them. Put them both at a pick them because they're both great fighters. Terrence, people say, is a horrible gas tank. I just think his gas tank has been downfall of him because of the way he fights. He doesn't stick. I mean, he sticks to one thing. Like if he comes out, throws a couple strikes at you and realizes his power isn't as good as yours and your striking is better than him, he's going out all out on his gas tank to wrestle you. If it's vice versa, he's going all out to try to knock you out. And that is where he's just got to learn how to control his gas tank and read the fight a little better. Dude has got the skill to be a great fighter, but he's just got to put it all together after the first round. Chris Duncan, though, is on a tear, showing people that he should never be an underdog in most of his fights ever again, or at least closer to a pick'em. Well, he's a favorite in this fight. I don't think he wins on Saturday, but I've bet against this guy too many times, and he's upset me now too many times to just say, hey, Terrence McKinney's automatically going to win. No, I'm picking Terrence McKinney to win, but I'm only 1 out of 5 on the confidence level, which means don't put this on a freaking parlay, guys. Too much of a risk. Way too much of a risk for a parlay. Single bet this all day, but parlaying this, nah. And then featured prelim bout, number 13 ranked, it's a lightweight bout, Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Finally, they give Manuel Torres a spot to get a ranking, because that guy, he is just supposed to be knocked out or finished by all these grapplers, and he just shows that, hey, man, you just have to have good grappling D against these grapplers and have great hands. And that's Manuel Torres to a T. Grant Dawson, he's got power behind his hands, but he's not known as a great striker. He's a good grappler. Man, it was hard for me to pick. Grant Dawson, negative 225, Manuel Torres, plus 180. I'm going Manuel Torres. I think because of what he did to Drew Dober, he's going to be able to stand the onslaught of Grant Dawson and knock Grant Dawson out like he did knock out Drew Dober. So going Manuel Torres here, but I'm not very confident. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level, like he can get his hand raised. We'll jump to the main card. This podcast is taking forever, but let's get it done here. Main card here, only weight division on here that isn't bantamweight or flyweight for the rest of this card. Light heavyweight fight, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Gustav. If you didn't see Bogdan Gustav's gear for the press conference yesterday, dude came out dressed as the Hitman, like the video game. Flipping hilarious and awesome. Dude is just, he's got character, man. I love his character. Anytime he's at a press conference, I'm tuning in. I got to see what he's dressed up as, man. That dude is funny. All right, number 5 ranked Jan Blachowicz versus number 11 ranked Bogdan. It's a good fight. Jan, negative 134 favorite. Bogdan, plus 110 underdog. Jan, great fighter, but he's at the end of that career, man. He's at the end, and I hate to say it because he was one of my favorite fighters for his tear to get to that light heavyweight championship. He was a real competitor at the light heavyweight division. He knows to get a run back at the title. He has to get a big win here on Saturday against Bogdan. I just think that's going to be a little bit too hard. Bogdan Gustav is going to get a big W. 1 out of 5, though, on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. All right, match leg number 4 here. My phone is just going crazy with this. The visual is just, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to figure that out. Match leg number 4, bantamweight fight between Henry retiring Cejudo versus Peyton, the retirer Talbot. No, I'm just kidding. I totally made those nicknames up for these guys. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot negative 280 favorite. Henry Cejudo plus 220 underdog. Henry's had 1 foot out the door before, and now he's got the 2nd foot out the door. The quickest way to say this, yeah, I know Henry looks like he's humble and he's ready to fight. No, Henry's got 2 feet out the door, knows this is a quick paycheck for him, and it's over with. Peyton Talbot is finishing that dude on Saturday, and I can't believe what my phone's doing right now. This is bugging me. I hope this does not do this on the audio. What is going on here? Well, Peyton Talbot's just getting a finish on Saturday. Henry, his career is over. It's done. He's already said this is his last fight. I'm pretty sure the UFC forcefully pushed him out because he's a lesson learner for anybody in life. Yes, you got to take risks in your life. Yes, you got to know who you are. But him and that quarterback that went to UCLA from Tennessee who asked for more money, sometimes you got to just know your worth, man. Just know. Just when someone tells you, oh, you should hold out for more money, sometimes it's not the best idea to hold out for more money. Make sure you know your worth, because Henry Cejudo proved that when you retire in your prime, you're going to waste your prime and you'll never be able to get back to that. You're just never going to. There's only one fighter who's ever really done it, and that's like John Jones. And John's just a different animal than Henry. Henry got lucky. He was always a flyweight fighter, moved up to bantamweight, went on a run. That's about it, man. That's where your legacy ends because you decided to retire. Don't ever retire in your prime. It's pretty much the thing here. Peyton Talbot, definitely a guy not retiring in his prime. He's getting a big win on Saturday. Henry was removed from the rankings, I feel like, because when I looked him up, I skipped the rest of the rankings of these guys. I just realized this. I'm a dummy. I literally went up to Jan and didn't finish Henry in them. Wow. Just wow. Because Peyton Talbot, I know, is ranked. Obviously, Brandon Moreno and tied to her. So figure out the rankings on your own since I screwed this one up, guys. All right, Peyton Talbot gets the win. Like I said, 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. Move to match leg number 3 here. It's a flyweight. I'm going to say top contender eliminator. I'm going to put it out there myself. For me, whoever wins this fight right here is the next contender for the flyweight championship. Brandon Moreno versus Tsura Terra. Now, Terra's a negative 128 favorite, whereas Brandon Moreno plus 104 underdog. Look, man, I like Terra. I like his skill set, but he does not have the striking level to me. Even on the ground, he doesn't have ground striking level. He always goes for the submission. He doesn't look for damage or beating somebody up. Beating somebody up on the ground can lead you to that great submission that you're looking for instead of just searching for the submission. Brandon Moreno is a great grappler, an excellent boxer. Excellent boxer. In the flyweight division, I'd say he carries decent power. I'm not going to say extreme power, but decent power. And that's where Terra is going to come up here short. He's not going to be able to just manhandle Brandon Moreno in the grappling. So Brandon's going to be able to box him and dirty box him because Brandon's great at dirty boxing. It's going to be a long night for Terra. Brandon Moreno, 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised. Flyweight flyweight co-main event of the evening for the title. Alejandro Pantoja versus Joshua Van. I've been wanting to get to this because you guys got to know this. I love Joshua Van. I'm on the bandwagon of Joshua Van, but I just think they pushed him to the title way too quick. I don't see it, man. He struggles against grappling. He's not of the greatest grappling defense. He's got good grappling defense, but it's not great. Pantoja is the GOAT of the flyweight division. Isn't it? He ran through everybody. He's taken that list and taken it down. He just said yesterday the reason he doesn't want to move up, yet. He's got a couple more people he wants to run through that top, I'd say top 7 now, but that top 5. He wants to run through a couple more of them and make it kind of like Merab's doing, getting 2 wins over certain people, just so they can't say he didn't rematch them. I love that attitude. I love that, but I still think we get Merab versus Pantoja in the future. Alejandro Pantoja, negative 250. Joshua Van, plus 198. If you want to take Josh all you want, you can. He's just not going to win on Saturday. Okay, he could win. I'll give him that. He could win. He's got the girl's great boxing hands, man. So if Alejandro Pantoja decides to stand with him, bad night for Pantoja. Pantoja's going to be going for those takedowns, so, and submitting him. And it's unfortunate. I don't want to see it happen. I want Josh to win, but my betting money, if you're putting money in there, if you're putting it on a parlay, you're going Pantoja 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised. Bantamweight main event of the evening, Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. Petr Yan plus 350 underdog. Merab negative 480 favorite as of right now. That's fluctuating because people like those odds on Petr Yan. Hey, I like those odds on Petr Yan too. You can take a single bet on it if you want, but it's not what I think is going to happen. Merab is just a machine, man. I don't know who's going to beat him. I think it's going to be someone like Pantoja is the only guy right now I could see beating him. Now, he moves to featherweight. That's a different story. That's a different animal up there. Especially if he had to take on Volk. But Volk's kind of, we already seen that card got announced for the second Paramount card, Volk versus Diego. We see that. Obviously, the show's about Merab, and then we're not going to jump ahead. I'm just hypothesizing here a little bit. But Merab's winning. I'm personally rooting for Petr because I love Petr Yan. I've been a big fan of his. I think he got screwed in that Aljo fight pretty bad. And hey, things happen. I can't say none, but we're going Merab for the win. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. But Peter's got a shot. He's got a great shot because he's good grappler, good grappling defense, good boxing. Merab, elite. Elite in all categories. So for Yan to win, he's going to have to knock out Merab or submit him. He has to finish him. That's the only way Yan wins, unfortunately. But Merab's winning that fight on Saturday. Don't doubt it. All right, y'all. Shout out to the Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen. We are out. We have one last show, and then we're not going to see each other for like a month. But in that month, I've got some things I'm working on. So can't wait to see y'all next week for the last show of the year. Peace the bleep out, y'all.